But let's go back to Jo Haylen. That speech today that she gave, no questions though, no questions from the media, when she resigned from her role as New South Wales Transport Minister. Have a listen to this.
From the very minute I was appointed a minister, I have worked my arse off. You don't clock out from being a minister. You work every single minute of the day, just like you don't clock out from being a mum. Combining those roles is difficult.
Joining me now, broadcaster Lucy Zelic. Well, Lucy, we're going to talk about other things. We're going to talk about the Olympics and women's sport. But I have to say this, you're a busy mum. What do you make of her comments there when she basically says, you might want to blame me, but I am a woman and I need the chauffeur driver to help me juggle being a minister and being a parent? Come on.
I had to really restrain myself in this situation because listening to her make those comments, I mean, your producers would have been having a chuckle to themselves because not just 5 minutes ago, I was shuttling my own children out of the room in preparation for this, bathing them, feeding them, bribing them with candy so that I could actually be here to do this for you because I have a lot of trouble saying no to you, Peta Credlin. But in this situation, I mean, it was really embarrassing, the comments that she made, because for starters, she said, well, you never clock off from being a minister. Well, that's exactly what you did that Australia Day long weekend when you tried to and then ultimately commissioned this vehicle at the taxpayer's expense to shuttle you off to a winery to have this fabulous time with your girlfriends. No one's begrudging you that opportunity or that moment in your life, but do not use it at the taxpayer's behest. And that's the issue that so many people have with this situation. I mean, the fact that she said that she's going to have to pay it back and whatever else is even more laughable for me, because guess whose money she's using to pay this money back with? The Australian taxpayers' dollars. So I found it very strange that she also included this thing about motherhood in there as well. We all know that the struggle and the juggle is real, Peter. We both have children and many of our viewers will understand that. I listen to friends of mine crying because they're trying to manage this juggle as they're dropping their kids off to childcare and racing home to pick them up, right? This is a real issue for Australians. But I don't know how it works in the context of her going off to have a boozy, session with her girlfriends at a winery. What context did she think that including motherhood into that was appropriate? And this comes off the back of a string of issues that Jo Haylen has stared down the barrel of in her short time as the Transport Minister. We know that she had that controversy not long after she was appointed in 2023 with the Jobs for Boys debacle. She's also staring down the barrel of this 9-month-long battle with the RTBU, which has just been handled disgracefully. The fact that these anarchists have been able to go on and hold the government to account and really by the proverbials over this issue for that long is a massive slight on not just her, but the Labor Party too. So it's been a massive debacle for her, and I'm glad that it's come to an end.
Now, look, I've got an interview with Peter Dutton that will go to air on Thursday. You and I are both very passionate about protecting women's sport and sport for girls from biological men. I think you'll be pleased with what he has to say about this in the interview, but you've got some good news. I think it's good news in relation to the IOC, the International Olympic Committee. What can you tell us?
First, before I get to that, can I just tell you, Peter, when I saw the teaser, the commercial for that interview, and I saw that you asked him that question, I thought, thank goodness. Finally, he's been put in a situation where he has to address this publicly. And I couldn't wait, in fact, to ask you myself, because I thought, I hope that he has a position on this and that the coalition are going to come out strongly on it. I know that you're not going to give anything away and that we all have to tune into the interview, which I am looking forward to doing even outside of this issue. The one thing that I have to make very clear to everyone is that I know that this issue of biological males competing in women's sport isn't necessarily front and centre for everyday Australians. We know that cost of living pressures are a problem. We know that this election could potentially be a referendum on energy. We know that we're waiting desperately on the RBA to reduce those interest rates and the cash rate, right? We're also very focused on that. But at the ground level, at the community sport level, where I'm dealing with women who are really having to face this daily when they are competing in these sports competitions, this is a problem for them. It's a problem for women of faith who have said, I can't compete in this competition anymore because they've included biological males. Now, none of this should be built on faith or any of these other issues around it. But at the end of the day, if we do not have a government that is prepared to stamp this out and say, like Trump, that he will not support biological males competing in women's sports and entering women's only spaces, then I fear for our future. There are so many issues that Dutton has been fantastic on, but I want him to be specifically brilliant on this because I personally think it will give him the leg up. We've seen the success that Trump had. The campaign that he ran was the most successful campaign that he ran in the lead up to the presidential election.
Lucy,
people.
I'm going to run out of time. I need you to update everyone on the IOC.
Okay, I could talk about it for days, right? But the IOC, the elections are coming up in March, right? And this is a thing that so many people have been very concerned about off the back of how Thomas Bach, the former and, well, still existing IOC president, the way that he handled things last year at the Olympics campaign with regards to Iman Khalif and Lu Tingying, who competed, and there were questions about their biological fitness for these particular games and the boxing classifications that they were included in because they had failed gender eligibility tests before. There's positivity. All 7 candidates have pledged that they will protect the women's sports category, and that's exactly what we need to hear. So finally, let's see it in Australia. Let's see it in Australia.
Thank you, Lucy. We love your passion. We love your passion.